Welcome to the Motivation Without the Hype podcast with your host, Gez Perez. He's an author, high-performance coach, and motivational speaker. This show brings you inspiring messages and interviews to unleash your greatness in life and in business. So let's get started.
Hi everyone, welcome to Motivation Without the Hype podcast show. My name is Gez Perez, a former procrastinator into an action taker. We bring you inspirational messages and interviews, including motivational insights, tips, principles, and proven strategies that you can take action without the hype in unleashing your greatness in life and in business. Now, we appreciate you plugging in and spending time with us, and we have a very special guest, and I'm super grateful to have him on our show. His name is Rasti. He's a licensed independent buyer's agent and an architect and ex-fund manager, having experience directly managing $2 billion. Now, as a self-made, robust portfolio owner, Rasti combines strategic diversification and negotiation skills to identify ideal opportunities tailored to his client's circumstances. Now, he is the founder and managing director of Sydney-based buyer's agency called Get Rare Properties, which deals in properties across the worldwide or nationwide Australia. Now, Get Rare Properties is the official sponsor of So They Can, has been nominated as a finalist in the local Northern Beaches Awards 2021 and Australian Small Business Champion Awards 2021. Now, guys, I'm super excited, really grateful to have him. Man, we're going to learn so much stuff, and I'm just totally excited to hear him. Rasti, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Just really appreciate me having here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yep. Now, guys, we're really excited. So take notes, get your pens out, get your notebooks, because we are going to find so many things about what Rasti is going to share. And, you know, we're going to be talking about some properties and, you know, some goal setting, really what Rasti has provided in his community and where he is at. So he's very successful what he does. And so we're going to learn and unpack what is going on in Rasti's world. Now, guys, you probably know my story. I started my career in real estate, and so properties and insights such as this, it really gets me on, and so I'm super excited. Now, we're all busy, very productive. Now, I had a quick chat with Rasti, and he is full on, as in, like, he's super productive, and he's serving his clients. So, Rasti, to those who don't know you yet, please tell us who you are and what you do.
Thank you so much. So, I'm an independent buyer's agent. But before I take someone into the buyer's agency journey with me, I actually work with them on their personalized portfolio strategy to build wealth. So what it means is, like starting with the end goal in mind and then working towards it. That will set the tone of the strategy, like, okay, what is the plan to achieve the goals? And then I work as a buyer's agent, executing on that strategy or completion of that plan. Because there's a lot of elements, as you would probably know, that there's a lot of research that goes in, the negotiations, and even the helping hand for the acquisition, because it takes a while, dealing with lots of parties. So for a busy professional or someone who doesn't really know much about the property investing, we take them on board, work with them, handhold them, understand their goals. Sometimes they don't even have clarity on their goals, so we work on that first, and then we try to execute it together with them. So we come there with them as a partner or as a coach or as a mentor, as a friend, hand-holding them and executing their journey to build wealth, to get the financial freedom so that they don't really have to stress out about their busy routine, rather than letting them have that choice, the freedom, so that they can choose to do what they want to do rather than what they have to do.
And I think that's really important, isn't like the relationship factor. And you mentioned about hand-holding, building that relationship, talking through the process. And I think that's really important when it comes to these decisions, because decisions like this is not like, oh yeah, $500, man. I'm talking about it's their financial, decision, and you walking through that process. I think that is key. So, you got wealth of knowledge and experience. Now, how do you build a robust portfolio to really generate a passive income to live the life and really fast track your financial freedom, as that's your specialty?
Yeah, sure, it is. So the way we work it out is like, as I mentioned, that it's like setting up the goal, or rather, what are we trying to achieve? Because the more insights that we have with regards to our long-term goals, then we can work it backwards. So for example, when we say passive income, now that passive income could mean different to you, different to me, and different to the person that I'm working with. Now everyone has their own deep down desires. At the same time, they have different capability. Like we need borrowing capacity, the savings rate that we have. So, it's a more personalized. And top of it, everyone has their own risk appetite as well, like the willingness to take risk and the ability to take risk. So taking all of that into account, we work out the strategy that, okay, let's define our end goal. Let's define our passive income goals and then trying to work it backwards that, okay, what it means in terms of the portfolio value, the value of the rent, as in the passive income we want to generate out of it, and then how we can go about achieving it. So the way we work it out is that, okay, like for example, we are working with a family, they save about $40,000, $50,000 per year. But now that is with the premises that they are healthy and they have jobs all the time, and assuming that they are able to maintain that kind of income level. Now, we know living in Sydney, the cost of housing is so high, and people think about affording a house only means that, okay, paying the deposit and having a loan. But as we know, we are borrowing money. We still have to pay back. Now, as an average, if it's $1 million property and we are saving only about $50,000 per year, it takes almost like 20 years. And when there's a mortgage behind it, the interest adds up. So we are talking about 20 years or so to just own a home. And then we probably have to work out another 10, 15 years to save for our retirement. So effectively, for someone who's in the early 30s, we are talking about a plan for 30 years to keep working and to get prepared for the retirement. On the other hand, when we work with them, we really talk about, okay, let's define what we are looking for and how we can get there by way of investing in properties.
Wow. Now, there are different types of investing. Why property? Why not stocks, shares, but why property?
Now, great question. I get this question all the time, especially I was a professional portfolio manager.
That's why.
Australian equities.
I wanted to go there, yes.
Right, so I was actually part of our team working on a $7 billion fund for Australian equities. Now, both equities, as in shares, as well as properties, they're pretty good as if we talk about asset allocation, they're both growth-based asset classes. So they're both growing in value. They have their own level of risk involved. Now, if you look at the historical data for even maybe like last 100 years, no doubt equities have given more returns year on year on average. So they have given about 11.3% year on year. But having said that, property is not too far behind. Residential market, including the rent we collect, we get 10.7% per year. So now 11.3, 10.7, anyone can choose to go for stocks because that's higher. However, the great thing that I like about properties is basically for three levels that I prefer properties or I have built wealth by using properties as an instrument. One is that there's a pyramiding. What it means is that we can take equity out without paying any capital gain tax or anything. We can take that equity and then multiply in the sense that we can invest in other property, right? Second thing is leverage. For example, we have heard about that people can pay 20% or 10% to own the asset. Now, in stocks, even if you go for leverage loan or, unless we go for a higher risk, it's just difficult. So we have to use $100 for $100 investment. Here in properties, we can probably use $10 to get 100%, $100 investment. Third thing, which I really like the most of all the three that I'm talking about, is the property market is very inefficient. And what it means is that as a buyer, I'm not really the price taker. Like if I have to go and buy a stock of Westpac Bank, for example. Now, if it is trading at $26.45, I have to pay $26.45 to get that stock, right? But in properties, there's no clarity that how much that property is valued for. So it really comes down to the individual owner who can sell the property and depends on the buyer who can buy that property at that price. Now, nobody knows the valuation. If we do the proper research, we can find properties which are equally rightly valued. There are properties which are undervalued. There are properties which are overvalued. Now, as an investor, I really love the bargains. By proper due diligence, we can find bargains, we can leverage it. I have to pay only 10% buy the whole property. And if I've done the good research, the market grows in value as well. Within a year and a half, I can go back, get my money out, which is the first part, pyramiding. And then we can redo the same stuff again. So it's a combination, pyramiding, inefficiency in the market, and the leverage.
Leverage. Now, can I just ask, what pivoted you to make that move? You probably have a great career in portfolio management, but what made you to make that decision to say, you know what, I'm going to pivot because this is where I want to go, because I can see that this is a really great opportunity for me. What was that pivotal point for you?
No, great question. I have actually pivoted a couple of times before as well. So before getting into the funds management or investing, I was actually in the IT sector. The reason I actually got into finance was that I saw the opportunity that money can work harder for us. We don't really have to work hard alone. The money that we're saving can work harder for us. Now, I made the transition from IT to finance, like I did MBA and went to school, or like even went to US school and came back, started working in the big four banks. And I was very successful. Then I had a calling. I actually attended Tony Robbins' flagship program, which you might have heard of by name of Unleash Your Power Within. Amazing program, amazing. What he does, he gets into you and questions you, what you are made up of, what's your purpose, what's your deep down desire. And when I looked back, reflected on my own journey, what I really want to do, it came down to that the reason why I went to the finance industry was to help people make money. And more I learned about it, I realized that property is the best vehicle. And I have done it successfully as well. So I have a decent portfolio behind me. And that actually gave me the financial freedom to choose what I wanted to do. So job was not a choice. I mean, it was not really forced. I had a choice. So that choice, along with the pursuit of helping other people, is what we are doing now. So we are taking a lot of people along with us who had no clue to start with regards to their long-term goals. And we work with them and adding property by property to build their successful portfolio now.
Wow. Now that's really inspiring, Rasti, because, it's a journey for you, but every step that you take comes with experience to helping adding more value to the lives of others, particularly with making decisions like this. And wow, what a great story. And I wanted to just ask as well, there are going to be a lot of listeners right now, also in Australia, who may be listening that may have some challenges about financial wealth. And there's always different meanings and perspective about financial security, et cetera, et cetera. But in terms of the mindset is really key. And I know we had a really good conversation about mindset. But if there's someone who has challenges about financial wealth, what is the first step for them to take when it comes to their mindset? Because it's some things that could pull them back to, to really have, it probably is a great opportunity, but it's that first step of making that choice. What would be that step for them?
No, great question. It's $1 million question by itself. And the way I look at it, it comes down with your deep down desire. Like if we have all the time, all the energy, what would the person do? Because when we are young, we have lots of desires. We really want to do this and that, but the challenges of life gets us. Then we talk about the mundane things, what we are going on, and all of a sudden we forget about that. Bit by bit, we forget about it, and we just live with our challenges. Now, the thing that you're referring to is a mindset. Mindset is a cornerstone, is the key for us to even desire something. And to me, it's all about abundance in the sense that there's huge out there. I'm a big fan of law of attraction. What it means is that more you desire, the universe will align itself, and then things will happen to you. So it comes down to the desire. More we really believe in ourselves, it gives a deep down purpose. So I'm a big fan of a book, I'm a big fan of this book called Start With Why by Simon Sinek.
Simon Sinek, yeah.
Beautiful book,
Amazing.
beautiful message. All it talks about, if you have the passion, if you have the will, you'll get it, no matter what. Even if you're under-resourced, underfunded, doesn't matter. If you have a deep desire to do something, we can achieve the goals, achieve the milestones to get there, provided your why, your desire is strong, and that comes only from the mindset. It comes down, deep down belief, and saying it almost every day, and you can achieve it. And that's what I have done it. I'm coming from a very humble beginnings.
That's
And I did
amazing.
it.
So with your clients and people that come to you, that's one of the things is, can this be really done? And again, it's the mindset. And I know that you've helped so many clients along the way. How important is to have smart goals with clarity, and it's a long-term strategy. It's a long-term vision. How do you help someone with that who is kind of struggling with those smart goals with clarity, doesn't really have much of an idea of a long-term strategy? What would you say, and how would you help someone who has a couple of challenges like that? They can't have a clear pathway.
Sure. Again, a beautiful, great question. What we talk about is bringing the person out of their discomfort zone, putting them in a situation whereby letting them think through of a desired situation or a position, whether it's of their financial wealth, making them think like if they really want to do something, what is it looking like and why they're not doing today. So we start with our deep down questions, and we'll let them have that kind of open discussion that what they're looking for. And then when we realize that, okay, these are their desires, like sometimes people really want to do it for their family. They really they want to do something for their own passions, whether it's traveling around the world or spending time with their family or reading books or whatever. But then they get held back by the challenges, as we were saying before. Now, for us to paint that picture, we really need a lot of visualization as well. A picture, someone spending time on the beach with the family. Now, how much worth is that picture for, right? And then, to your point, it can't be just vague picture. We have to bring it back to the reality. We have to give them the numbers, specific numbers,
Correct. Yeah.
measurable,
Yes.
achievable,
Realistic in
time
time.
bound,
Yes.
realistic.
Yes.
So that's basically, smart goals that we should have. Now, more we believe in that, again, the law of attraction kicks in. We can plan for it. Of course, we can't really just be very optimistic all the way. We have to really make sure of the what if scenarios. What if this happens? What if rate goes up? What if they lose their job and whatnot? So clarity of not only what they're trying to achieve, also the clarity of things that we are avoiding, and having the right team around them so that they can holistically achieve that goals. And also, I should also add, it's not just about the destination all the time. It's also about the journey. And the way we say about the blueprint that we work with, it serves as a GPS. When we have clarity on how far we have to go and what we are trying to achieve, it gives a peace of mind. It just let them realize that, okay, when we are investing for long term, for example, look, all the time, whether it's shares or property investing, things will go sometimes sideways, sometimes even downwards. But if you have a right strategy in mind, we know it's a matter of time. Because long-term investments should be rated on long term. Anything what we are doing short term is basically aligning ourselves, navigating ourselves to achieve those goals. So all those conversations, hand holding, and the other thing is that because I've done it successfully for myself, for my family, and I can bring those examples from my client base as well, that gives a lot of confidence as well to the client that we are working with.
Absolutely. And I like how you said it's a teamwork, and it's a team that formulates, because from end to end, from step by step, each stage, you need to have a team. And having a team that with support, with the guidance like yourself, gives that confidence for the person who wants to invest, says, yep, I can have that trust. And, there are a lot of strategies out into the marketplace when it comes to increasing your finances, but your focus is all about property. You mentioned about blueprint. Can you just share a bit? What are the blueprint steps in creating property wealth with someone who is kind of like lost and like, how does that work? And what is the first initial steps in actually creating property wealth? What would that be?
Sure. Look, this is a very detailed response that I can give, and
Just a high level. Doesn't
sure,
have to
high
be
level.
deep.
So I thought of just sharing with you. Like I do
Yeah.
run the workshop, a free workshop for people to, if they want to hear about it a
Great.
bit more detail,
Yeah.
they're more than welcome to come along in the workshop, which we can share the details later on. But at a very high level, what we work out is that, okay, so we start with the end goal in mind. What is that thing? What is that kind of quantum that we are trying to achieve? So that's our end goal. Then also, where are we today? What is our current savings rate? What is our cash balance or the equity right now that we have? What is our risk appetite? So this is our starting point. This is where we want to get, at the end. Now, how do we bridge the gap is done by the blueprint, take into account desires, the risk appetite and whatnot. So in very high level portfolio construction, we talk about four stages. We talk about four stages. One is acquisition. So what we say is that, okay, let's acquire the properties. So it's all about the speed of acquiring property portfolio, letting it double in value. Of course, when we are in the first stage of acquiring, we are okay with the leverage, as in we are happy to borrow money from the bank. And then when we acquire the portfolio, of course, we might have a limited capacity to borrow. So we have to be very strategic that maybe we can buy one or two, but then how do we go for the third and the fourth? That has to come from the success of the purchase of the first and the second. So we build the strategy to acquire the portfolio. Second step is to let them grow. So grow in value. Maybe the loan or the borrowing that we have against them remains the same. Maybe it has trickled down a bit. We have paid a bit, but let's say that we have not paid at all. So now the property value goes double in value. Now we say that, okay, this is the desired level of equity, which is the difference of the value of the portfolio minus the total loan we have. We can say comfortably now, let's sell half of our portfolio so that we can pay off the whole outstanding debt. So in the third stage, after it has grown already double in value, we sell half of the portfolio, consolidate it, and then we are left with a fully paid off portfolio, which is rented out and we are collecting income. And that income is very passive because we are not really, other than managing those rental properties, we are just collecting rent and enjoying life. And that's the fourth stage of enjoying your financial freedom. So in a nutshell, four stages: acquisition, growth, comes the stage of consolidation, and the enjoyment of your financial freedom.
Wow. Guys, I hope you're taking notes. In this segment alone, there's so much nuggets into this, even if it's just a tip of the iceberg. And I know there are a lot of intricate details, a lot of walkthroughs into this process. But guys, you've got to get in touch with Rasti for more information about it. By the way, Rasti, congratulations advance. You have written an amazing book. Can you just share about what you're launching to those listeners and those who are watching on the podcast? I want to find out what it is. Can you just share what you're launching?
Sure. Look, this is the book that I've been writing or thinking about since last few years. I put my head down, said that this is my goal to get it done in this year.
Fantastic.
And so what I've been just talking about, I'm just talking about, as you said, it's at a very high level. And of course, there's a lot of assumptions, a lot of intricacies. So I tried to put everything together in a book, which is available on Amazon or different bookstores as well. We are getting it launched on 8th of October. The book title is The Property Wealth Blueprint.
Wow.
Exactly what you asked me about. The book is all about that. It's a decent read, but it's at the same time, because it is full of case studies and the examples and what if scenarios and the reasons why you should be thinking about it. So this is like a book condensed in what I'm trying to say. It's condensed over there. So if somebody can't really get hold of me, please get a hold of this book and you will be able to understand what I'm trying to talk about, because that gives a very basic blueprint that you can go and execute on your own if you have to.
Wow, what a value.
So the name of the book is The Property Wealth Blueprint, and it goes with the same website as well. So the www.thepropertywealthblueprint.com.
Fantastic. And we'll make sure we'll put it onto the show notes. And guys, click that link so you can subscribe and follow Rasti as well and his journey, particularly with his book launch. I think it's great. Being an author, you really have to really work through and, put a game plan. And if you can just get that and read it through and really execute and really take action and then get mentorship, I think that's really important. My mentor always say, is to get started, right? In property industry, you get started now, buy more and hold on to it, right? And then you invest more, right? And that's how you're going to create property wealth. Now, everyone has different type of strategies. And to a person, Rasti, who are looking for an A team, who are experts such as yourself in this type of industry, what are the key items that people need to look for and prepare for if this is the move that they want to take as part of their wealth creation in terms of the property industry?
Sure. So the first thing is about mindset that we were talking about, having a deep down desire. Or sometimes you don't really have to have deep desire. It can start with an open mind. Thinking about if somebody has done it, you too can do it. That belief by itself is a very strong belief.
Powerful.
It's the
Yeah.
optimism. It's not about like how many people have failed. I mean, if you focus on the failure, you're learning from them. It's all about people who have fallen through the cliff, but people who have achieved the heights, and that's what A team brings. Because the thing is that it's an orchestration of all the different skills, like a mortgage broker, solicitor, building pest inspector, insurance broker, property strategist, buyer's agent. It's property manager. It just goes on. But the thing is that you don't have to work and find out who's the best and how you can make them work together. Sometimes you have to just be in the network of someone who's doing successfully. And the formula that I've used is look at whom you want to emulate, follow what they're doing, and then just get in that circle. Because irrespective of whether it's properties or shares or whatever, your network is your net worth. People you assign
100%.
along with goes with that.
Virtual high fives.
Thank you.
No, and
But just to very
it's so
quickly,
true. Yeah.
very quickly answer you with regards to very specifically, you asked about how to look for that team.
Yes.
The
Yes.
answer is make sure they're independent. Make sure they're successful themselves in what you are trying to achieve. And third, together they are not only they work together, so there's a lot of harmony, but all of them should be working for you. I mean, that's the point I'm highlighting. They should be independent, because lots of people in the industry, they have some hidden agenda sometimes. Just make sure that people you're working with are taking care of your best interest. And when you are paying for them, they are very likely working with you, likely only. But when you're not paying for them, guys, nothing comes for free,
Correct.
So
Yep.
it doesn't matter whether it's coming from your pocket or not. As a buyer, supplies the whole, feeds all the
Absolutely.
stomachs on the way.
Yeah. I think that's really important because a lot of people who are kind of in this journey say, oh, I'll go to Joe Blow's, I go to my family, friends, whichever. But they may not have that success, bandwidth in terms of they don't have, social proof. And you mentioned so clearly and so beautifully is, if someone's been in the game for a long time, don't reinvent the wheel. If there's already a blueprint of success, you want to follow through that. And that's why having an A team is really important, because they've experienced, they know the highs and lows, they know the intricate details. And also that handheld, which you mentioned earlier on, which is really important. And I think just really get into it with someone who actually is an expert and has social proof, who's got social branding like yourself. And I think having an important team is really important. And again, like for me, if I have a mentor who's done it, I'd rather go through that journey. I don't want to waste my time in 7 years, lost time, when I know that I can do this within 7 months. With the right mentorship, I'm not saying 7 months, but just an example. But having someone who has a clear focus, and it's all about to serve. And I think that you've just displayed that so beautifully, because it's all about adding value. It's not just a transaction, it's a transition of a relationship. It's all about the relationships. And at the end of the day, and you probably vouched to this as well, Rasti, is that when someone invests in a property, it's not, that's it, you're done. You want to create, more relationship, because this person that you help is going to be an advocate for your business, right? So the full circle of life in expanding, you said it again, like your network is your net worth, right? So that's really important as well. So wow, guys, I trust that you're taking a lot of notes through this. And again, all the notes are provided in the show notes. So I always ask this question to every guest, Rasti, is, what is your meaning of motivation without the hype? And how to use motivation for your personal success?
Great question. Great question, and very deep question, I should also say. So it goes back to my childhood. When I was growing up, coming from a very humble beginnings, like my parents actually struggled to put food on the table. And every time as a child, I used to think, why are my parents working so hard? Don't they love me that they're spending time with, with their busy schedule? And as I was growing up, then only I realized, because they loved me so much, because they really want to provide me those means, they were working so hard. And that has actually become my motive, that the parents should be spending time with the kids. The people themselves, they should be spending time with themselves more, following their passions, following their desires. But then the reality is that we have to earn our living, and then we get so busy. Now, my motivation comes from that, yes, we probably are good at earning money, like whatever respective jobs we are. But my friends, that money, the hard-earned money, can work harder if you can put it to the right use in the right way.
Come on.
So that has become my motivation. So I'm financially free. So finance doesn't really attract me as much as it used to be. I really want people to be successful so that they have clarity, so that they can enjoy life and they can spend time with their kids. And more importantly, now we have become a corporate sponsor of a charity by name of So They Can, who provides food and education to the kids in Africa.
Wow.
So whatever we earn, a portion of it actually
Amazing.
goes in that charity. So that has become our motivation.
Wow, that's beautiful. And I think that's really important, right? It's sometimes you cannot bring money to the grave, you know? But what you can do is use that resource to bless others. And that's what I love about you, Rasti. That's amazing. That's an amazing story. And I think, your values and what you do into this community by helping other people, creating wealth for others is you're such a top bloke. That's amazing. So hats to you. And guys, and again, if you really want to get in touch with Rasti and what you've been inspired by, all the links are provided in the show notes. So, man, I am blown away with such amazing insights. So for more information, how you can get in touch with Rasti, we've got all those notes in the provided show notes. So please do follow him, connect with him, and reach out to him as soon as possible if you can. So guys, if this episode has been helpful and uplifting, we would love for you to write a review to inspire more listeners to get plugged in. We will continue to provide high value content in each and every episode. If you don't mind sharing this podcast show on social media by inviting others, it would mean the world to me. Every time you tag me, we will get the opportunity to share those posts, and together, I say it again, together, we can make a difference in the lives of others through inspirational episodes just like this. So there you have it. In closing, continue to unleash your greatness and tell yourself that I can, I will, and I must, and we'll see you on the next episode.